kind of your biggest fear, is just falling behind that far that quickly and
well,
catch up?
Yeah, you know, we just, you know, we've got to do a better job of being able to start ball games better. I mean, it's that simple. You go back and look at, you know, you take your pick of the, you know, past 5, 6 ball games. We just, you know, have not been able to be functional in the first drive of the series, and that puts you behind. And you know, we come back and on a touchdown in there with Morgan Burns on a kickoff return, but you know, then they turn right around and go back down. So we just have to start better. You know, we've got to start better.
Is the overall effort where you like it? They at least seem to be fighting back in a lot of these games.
Well, you know, it's a mixed bag, in all honesty. I'm proud of so many young guys that did exactly that, exactly what you say, but there are some disappointments there too. A few, not many.
Did you pass the ball more than you expected going into this game?
No, I knew it's just who we are. I mean, we've got to be able to throw the ball and have balance in our offense to become a productive offensive football team. You know, if it's if we're one-sided and you're a decent football team, then we're in trouble.
Klein had such a big game. Can you talk about him and the way he stepped up and a lot of big plays?
He really did. I was so proud of him. He went up and made some plays. He's a big, physical wide receiver, but you know, he was very competitive for so many throws, and he made some of those heavily contested catches that you know, I just felt good about him. You know, he struggles. He's you know, he doesn't get to practice very much during the course of the week, and but it's competitive and competes, and so I'm proud of him. Yes.
The last time you lost 6 in a row was back in '89. I know so much has changed since then, but is there any familiarness to this at all? Is there
well, no. I mean, we had. Yeah, I mean, you know why we lost 6 ball games in a row. I was pleased with the progress that our football team made, losing 6, 7, or 8 in a row, or 10 in a row, whatever it was. I think it was maybe 9 collectively. But I was proud of that football team because they got better every single week. I'm proud of the number of things that this football team is doing, but you know, there's some things that that we just haven't been able to improve at that are disheartening to me. You know, and one of them is just being able to start ball games better.
Bill, do you feel like sometimes it's 1 step forward and 2 steps back with this group?
Well, I don't know. It may be a step forward and a step back, but probably I'd say a step back and then a step forward, because you know, the first thing is how you start the ball game, and we're not starting very well.
Coach, what did happen there with their quick scoring? Did they present you with something you didn't expect, or just got you guys on your heels?
Well, we just didn't respond to things very well. I mean, you know, it's not rocket science. They just raise up and throw the ball out there, and you know, he runs for 10, and they raise up and throw it over there, and he runs for 10. That's the same thing they did to us last year. You know, open the ball game. Everybody else does the same thing. We just have to get up and play things better.
On that first drive, you guys go 5 plays, 22 yards there. Was it difficult? I mean, not getting Charles Jones involved earlier when you were behind the 8 ball because of them getting up like that?
Well, I'm not sure.
Well, by the time you touched the ball, you guys were already trailing. They'd scored a couple times.
Well, no, that wasn't the issue. It didn't have anything to do with that. It just had to do with, you know, being able to get in the right things and run the right things and execute, you know, appropriately. And it wasn't whether Charles had it or not.
Is there anything you'll challenge the guys to do this week to start better in these last 3 games?
Well, you know, it all starts out, you know, as it would any week, and being able to, you know, first and foremost, you know, making a commitment to wanting to improve, and you know, backs are against the wall. You know, they still have an opportunity to achieve what they want to achieve, but you know, you have to have a commitment to do it. You know, we have to have guys, you know, step up and say, hey, I'm in 100%, and then you know, address what do we need to do in order to correct mistakes that we have made, and then continue to work. And I will say this, you know, and I've said this in front of you all, you know, that we have invested ourselves from practice environment better in the last week and a half, and so we've made some progress. As I shared with you, just like I shared with our players, you know, it takes time to reap the results of the efforts that you put in, and you can't go out and practice accurately and correct mistakes and have the enthusiasm for it and all that goes along with it, and do it in a couple of days and expect a great dividend on the weekend. You know, you guys put money in the bank, and you know it takes a while to accumulate, you know, some additional funds. So the dividends come from extended preparation and extended good work in practices. But we have made progress in that respect, and I think, you know, you see a little bit of the payoff, but not collectively yet.
Bill, do you have an idea of the extent of Cody's injury?
I do not, no.
Time for one more?
What was it that you did tell the players after this one, Coach?
After what?
After this recent loss, what was it that you shared?
Well, I think some of it is very personal that I wouldn't share in here, and part of it, I mean, there were some young guys and segments that I was extremely proud of, and I allowed them to understand that because I was, and you know, I've mentioned in particular Morgan Burns. You know, Morgan gets on the field, plays about 17 snaps on defense on long drives, and turns right around and gets invested in kickoff returns, and you know, runs all over the field and makes some positive things happen. You know, when I know he's gassed, I appreciate that kind of effort, and you know, some of the little things that take place, and there are a few others that you know, I shared, you know, same thing with.
Okay, guys.